Hi guys, it's Machaela, and today I've got a bit of an eyeshadow palette video. I'm going to do a top 10 eyeshadow palette gift guide, I guess would be a good word for it. And these are pretty much for, you know, maybe it's a beauty lover in your life, maybe it's someone trying to get into makeup, maybe it's somebody who's just wanting to add something a little extra to your collection. I mean, personally, I don't feel like an eyeshadow palette is ever a bad gift, but that's just my beauty lover self talking here. These are not in a particular order. There's a wide variety of colors, of price ranges. I've got affordable, I've got a more high-end. I even think I threw in a couple of luxury ones if you're really wanting to splurge. So with that, let's just get into it. Some of these are holiday releases, so you are going to want to pick them up soon. Some of these are just stuff that I've loved over the course of this year, and you know, some of them are from releases from a few years ago, some of them are more recent, and then I actually do have one face palette. So let's just get into it. Alright, let's go ahead and just start with the face palette, and then I'll go ahead and do my 10 eyeshadow releases. But this is the Becca and Barbie Fierreira Prismatic palette. I have found this on sale at Ulta, but I thought it's super pretty. You could totally use these for like highlights, blushes, eyeshadows. It's definitely an all-around palette that you can use and go ahead and just, it's just kind of fun. I personally am enjoying it. I love having a variety of highlights, you know, and if you're traveling, honestly, this would be a good palette to take for an all-in-one, because I can use this one here as a bronzer shade, this over here as a blush, and then I've got a couple of highlights and then like an eyeshadow. And actually this one right here makes a really good transition color. Alright, and just kind of going in with no particular order. I've got the Dose of Colors, both the Sassy Siennas palette and the Marvelous Mauves palette. However, I would recommend any of the palettes. So here's this one. I like these because they're just little 5-pan palettes. You can get them, and they kind of have a color story that kind of have an ombre effect. So any of the Dose of Color eyeshadow palettes I think would be a really good one. And then here is the Sassy Siennas palette. It's definitely got more of your like corally shades over here, and then your more burnt orange and brown shades over here. And then let's move on to a bit of an affordable option. I've got my whole stack of all the E.L.F bite-size eyeshadow palettes here. These are great because they are only $3. So you can buy multiple of them. You can buy, you know, one or two or the whole stack. I mean, for $3 a piece, it's pretty affordable, and they come in a wide variety of colors. This one here is in a hot jalapeno. That's great for your green lovers in your life, and I actually just did a holiday inspired makeup look using this palette, so I will link that down below. This is your pumpkin pie, which I thought, you know, it's totally just kind of fun. It's kind of got your more earthy tones to it. This is Cream and Sugar. Again, just kind of more of a light kind of daytime look. And then what I feel like is the nighttime version of that, and I am dropping these as we speak. This is the Truffles palette. I did travel with this one recently, so I thought that was, you know, it worked really well for travel. This one, it's not my favorite one, but it's the SIU. I feel like the colors kind of blend together a lot, but I mean, if this is your color story, I'm totally all for this one as well. And then this is, yeah, this is the Berry Bad one, and again, I like it. It's got the berry tones. I mean, you can create some nice, like, kind of deeper fall looks with this one. This one here, Rosewater, this was actually my first, one of these palettes, but I feel like this very much mimics the Urban Decay Naked 3 palette. I mean, not all the colors, but if you are just kind of wanting to stick to like these lighter rose gold shades and then adding a deeper one, I think that this would be a really great, like an amazing alternative to the Urban Decay Naked 3 if you're just wanting to play around with the colors. And then this one here, I do like this one. This is the Carnival Candy. It's kind of got your all-around pops of color. I mean, these ones don't, like, I feel like the color story doesn't work too well together, but I mean, get creative, you can totally make it work. So yeah, on the flip side to that, let's go with more luxury product. If you're wanting to splurge, I mean, these are like 30 bucks a piece, but it's the Natasha Denona minis. I've got 3 of them here. The Mini Star palette, the mini Lila palette, which is a little bit used. And then I've got the mini gold palette. I feel like they're a great way to try out the Natasha Denona formula. I don't like a lot of people. I don't feel like they're fully like as good as her bigger palettes, but I do think that they are great. And on the flip side to that, I don't have one to show, but if you really want to splurge on somebody, go ahead and go for her full-size palette. I've got a couple of them, and I mean, I really like them. I'm going more high-end, and if you're wanting a berry tone, it's the Marc Jacobs Cherrific palette. I am absolutely loving this palette. I think it is beautiful. I think it's reminiscent of the Urban Decay Naked Cherry palette, which if you are wanting a little bit more of an affordable alternative, or maybe just more bang for your buck, that might be the palette for you. But I absolutely love this. I am loving this formula. I am loving playing with this holiday season. So I am totally like in love with this palette. Here's a Too Faced holiday release. It's the Salted Caramel palette. This is limited edition, so I would pick it up soon if you are wanting to get your hands on it. But I've been loving playing with this palette as well, because you get some really like, I don't want to say soft, but kind of just like really like beautiful, like burnt orangey kind of colors. I think they're just super fun to play with. You can get multiple looks out of just 8 shadows with it, so I think that's definitely a really good one to purchase. Then here's another affordable alternative. I picked this one up early this year. This is the Colourpop Blush Crush palette. If you do know someone who is a pink lover, I would highly recommend this one. It's 9 pans, and it's honestly one of my favorite palettes. I mean, I'm a sucker for rose gold myself and pinky tones, as you could probably tell with the bold pink lips today. But I'm loving this one. Then this next palette is a Too Faced Natural Eyes palette. It's a very neutral tone. I think it's a very beginner friendly eyeshadow palette. It does have your shimmers in it. It's got some more highlighting shades here that you could totally work with as like transition shades, setting shades, or even just using as a highlighter. I feel like every person needs a good neutral palette in their collection. I definitely have a lot of my favorites. I've got a couple of favorites that I believe are discontinued, like the Urban Decay Naked Ultimate Basics palette. It's one of my absolute favorites. Unfortunately, I do not think you can get it anymore, which is why I did not include it in this video. But this is definitely one of my absolute, this is one of my favorite neutral palettes. It's a good go-to palette. Next up is the Urban Decay Stone Vibes palette. I did pick this up this year. I wouldn't say it's necessarily a beginner friendly palette, but I'd say it's a very good additive to your collection just because of how like unique the shimmers are. They really do give a 3D effect, and it's got your mattes and stuff too. So I really feel like it's all around like great palette, whether if you were to pair it with this palette here or any kind of neutral palettes. I think it'd make a great complementary palette. I mean, you can get away with using it on its own just fine if these are your tones, if you're okay using the shimmers. But this has definitely become a huge favorite of mine this year. Next up, let's go in with the Urban Decay Naked Honey palette. This is a good neutral palette. Definitely great for everyday looks. It's got your mustardy kind of warm tones, so if those are not your colors, or the person in your life, if that's not their colors, this may not be the palette for you. However, I do feel like this is a very good, unique palette to add to your collection. And then another one is my ABH Amrezy palette. I absolutely love this. It's very like reminiscent of, very girly, very fun, has a lot of good glittery tones in it. I think it's just overall, I mean, it's got a pop of blue, it's got a bunch of like nice, good kind of bold tones in that. Alright, I know I only said 10 palettes, but I have to include these two. The Urban Decay Naked Ultraviolet eyeshadow palette. If you have a purple lover in your life, this is seriously one of my favorite palettes. I mean, because you can get your neutral looks over here, you can pair with the purples over here, or you can just go with some deep purples. But this is definitely a great eyeshadow palette. I definitely am glad I picked this up this year. I definitely this is definitely a huge favorite of mine. I get excited every time I get to play with this palette. And then one more face palette is the Benefit Cheekleaders palette. I know it's been on sale at Ulta right now. I wouldn't probably recommend buying it full price. However, if the sale is still going on, I mean, for $36, that's like $5.50 an not an eyeshadow, but for a full size pan of these, and I think that's just, it's a really good, so it's a really great deal personally for like this palette. Again, I probably wouldn't pick up the full size, but I am loving this palette so far. So with that, I hope this gave you some ideas. I tried to include a little bit of everything, a little bit from every price range. I hope you enjoyed this video. Subscribe if you haven't already, and thank you for watching. I do videos focusing on beauty, fashion, lifestyle, and motherhood, and I will see you in the next video. God bless, and bye guys.